Now, when we talk about what the Nazis changed about work, we need to understand it from, should we say, the big government perspective before we talk about the people. See, when a government comes into power, they normally hire or implement someone as an economic minister. In the UK, we call it the Chancellor of the Exchequer, but in Germany, it is the Minister for the Economy. And the first, should we say, Nazi economic minister was the name of Hjalmar Schacht. A picture of him is in the far left-hand corner. Hjalmar Schacht introduced what Hitler wanted, work programs to try and increase the amount of work in Germany to therefore reduce unemployment. He basically introduced a load of weapons. And the thing is, Schacht was an economist. He was a person who was actually understood how these things worked and realized that to make all the weapons and uniforms and factories that basically Germany wanted, you realize that you need stuff from other countries. You need things like coal and petrol and food from other countries. So to do that, Schacht went round the world signing trade deals with these countries to supply Germany with the economy that they wanted. And there was a reduction in unemployment and there was things that wanted, but according to Hitler, Schacht's plan was too slow. So Schacht was sacked and replaced with a long-time Nazi called Hermann Goering, picture in the middle here. Goering is very famous. He's been involved in Nazis for a very long time, but Goering was a very, I'm going to use the word hardcore, very straight to the point with trying to sort out an economic policy for Germany. What he called his policy was the 4-year plan. He wanted Germany ready for war and self-sufficient within 4 years. He ordered massive amounts of weapons, massive amounts of uniforms, massive amounts of vehicles, so that basically people were forced to go and work in factories to build them. And those targets were achieved. Germany made tons and tons of weapons, and you've seen them in the conflict and tension topic. But even though the achievements of Goering are successful, he also failed in a number of other key industries. So, for example, Germany wasn't producing enough oil, it wasn't producing enough food, and therefore Germany still relied on other countries to fuel its economy. Germany needed other countries so that it could produce the things it wanted, and Goering didn't like that. He wanted to make Germany self-sufficient. He wanted Germany to rely only on itself. No food from countries around it, no oil or petrol or coal. Germany could produce all of that on its own. And what they did is that they kind of started recycling in the weirdest way. Goering ordered scientists to produce produce petrol from coal and to produce wool from pulped wood, and basically a load of incredible advancements were made to try and make Germany last on its own. And there's a very famous quote about this. When asked what's more important to Germany, you know, the food for its people or the weapons for its defence, and Goering said, "What would you prefer, butter or iron?" And what I choose is iron makes us strong when he's talking about guns, and butter only makes us fat. This really shows the perspective of the people in charge about how they're going to make Germany work. And it becomes very interesting when they start talking about farmers. Well, I've mentioned loads. Germany needed food from other countries, and the things that the Nazis did to farmers was very particular. See, farmers produce food. They own large areas of land or work on large areas of land, and they produce pretty much what they need for the country. Now, 30% of Germany's population worked in agriculture, in farming, so 1 in 3 people just about was involved in making food in Germany. Well, the Nazis obviously wanted either more people working in food to produce, or they wanted, well, but then they wanted people to work in the factories, didn't they? So the Nazis made a plan to force farmers to stay in their job. They could not leave the farming industry, and what they did is that they created a series of laws that basically banned farmers from being able to sell their own land. Let's say you had this land from your father and you don't want to work in farming, it's too much work. Oh, you cannot sell it. You physically cannot move or leave. You have to work as a farmer. And this is a little bit of a sight to see about what generally happens to people in Nazi Germany, that they are forced to do the things they don't want to for the sake of what the government wants people to be doing. Farmers are the first example of changes made to Nazi Germany. We'll talk a little bit more about the experience of the average worker in a later lesson. But some questions for you to be able to explain, well, this area. What did the Nazis change about work? Firstly, for number 1, what is the difference between Schacht and Goering's economic policy? Can you tell me what each one of them wanted and the difference between? Can you tell me why the Nazis wanted Germany to be self-sufficient? And then also, can you tell me how the Nazis affected farmers? If you can answer those three, you've revised this section. All right, good luck. See you later.